G'day, folks, and welcome back to season 2 of the FM19 beta. I am Parkera as always. Now, something we are going to do today that we didn't do last time, beginning of last season, is we're going to look at the squad and we're going to cover the transfers. And then we'll get into the next game, probably on the next video. So let's get into it, shall we? You can see there we made some transfers, I guess you call them. We've got no money, we've got less than money, we've got minus money, minus money. But we managed to get so we'll start here with the ins. Stefan Negro, he was one we signed mid end of season last year between the windows, between January and the end of the season from Brisbane Roar, and it was a obviously end of contract one. So he came to us the end of his contract in July or June. Stefan, so he looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. He's a 23-year-old. He's got some decent for fullback. He's not the most fast, but he's got some pace there. He's certainly got some good passing and tackling, and some of his mentals are pretty good for a fullback. Hopefully, we can increase those. But he gives me coverage on both flanks there as well, and he's pretty adept at playing as a wing back. We then have Danny Griffey. He came to us, I believe, on trial. I think we got him on trial. Yes, we did. So he came to us on trial. I'm pretty happy with him. We did need some depth in midfield, and he offers that midfield centre. He can play defensively, central as well, and push up, and kind of, well, not really on the flanks, but there's options there. But I'm pretty happy with him. He hasn't got much in the way of pace, but he's got good passing, good technique, and he can, free kicking and first touch crossing, but he's got good teamwork, vision, and positioning, and off the ball. So these mentals here really do, they got me there. They do help his performance. Certainly make up for the pace as well. Good composure, concentration, decision making, as well as anticipation. So some really good stats there for him. We then got another one who came to us on trial. So basically all these guys were on trial at some stage. Rossig Griffith. So he's a 31-year-old. So yeah, a bit of the old man. Defensive midfield centre. He's been playing in that defensive midfield role. Okay, yeah, he's got average pace, 10, but some decent physicals there. Heading, passing, and tackling are good for defensive midfield, centre midfield. So there is a possibility even of pushing him further back if I needed to. And some good mentals, work rate, teamwork, positioning, leadership, determination, composure, bravery, anticipation, and a fair bit of aggression. So overall, I think I'm pretty happy with him on a free. His best role is a ball-to-ball midfielder, but we are playing him primarily as a halfback or a anchor man. Sometimes just a deep-lying playmaker. Then Brooklyn Lions Foster. He's just. This kid just came to us from Eastern Suburbs. He's on the youth team. I'm just trying to remember. Hang on. I don't remember this fella. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Yeah, he's in our reserves. He's on, and we got he's on our reserves. Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there. Robbie Keane, yes, Robbie Keane, the Robbie Keane, came to us just recently on a free, just on a nice little contract for a year. He's got an extension if he plays like 15 games. Pretty good stats for his age still. His pace is crap, but I mean, it makes up for it in his mentals, really. Apart from his positioning, we'll probably let him down. But off the ball's pretty good there too. Concentration, decision makings, and still some good, decent pass. Obviously, high technique and vision, as well as the leadership abilities there. So he's one just to add that coverage and a little backup for Krishna mainly. And Nathan Konstantopoulos, another one who was on trial with us. Again, 23-year-old Aussie midfield centre. He came on trial, did enough. I'm pretty satisfied with him. He's not the best, but at the Knicks we can't really attract the best because we have no money. And like I've mentioned, we can't even some of the freebies, we just can't meet their wage demands. So I'm still pretty happy with him with his physicals there. He can cover a fair bit. His best role is a central midfielder, and we will use him as just that little bit of backup. Now, Adam Mitchell went on loan to Tasman. Ben Ware on loan to Hawke's Bay. Batchelor on loan, and David Williams. We got rid of him for free. He was a regular for us, but he was bitching and moaning about not playing regularly. Then his training started to go crap. He wasn't pick his boots up, so I said, right out the door, mate. You're gone skis. There is another fella I want to touch on if I can, and this is a pain in the poo, Kiko. We'll go back. Okay, he's not there. So the guy we had last season. I don't know why it's not showing us. The guy we had on last season. He came to us anyway. He was from Poland. We tried to renew his contract, and nothing. It was good, fine. Then we had to wait an extra 2 weeks for a work permit. By the time the work permit came through, the team that he was registered with had already used the maximum allowance of players to loan out, and so it fell through. So yeah, that's a bit of a pain. But never mind, let's get into the team and meet the boys. So we didn't really see these guys last season, so we're going to goalkeeper. I'll try and keep this pretty quick. New Zealander, 23-year-old Oliver Sale, young goalkeeper. He played some matches last season for us, and he did okay. And he's listed as second rated. There's a big drop you can see, but fine. I'm happy with how he's gone so far. I think he'll develop all right. Main goalkeeper here is Filip Kurto. He's Polish, really good, top quality goalkeeper. He is contracted until 2021, so I'm pretty happy with this fella. Of course, Andrew Durante, we had the testimonial from him against West Ham. This is his last season. He has an extension clause that if he plays 10 games, we may give him the extra season. I may just use that trick. I might trigger that clause just because he is actually doing his. It doesn't show it here, but he's currently studying at his own volition for a. I wonder if it will show it in information. Okay, it doesn't show it there. So, but he's currently studying at his own cost for his coaching badge. So I'm hoping that will come through, and then we can kind of use him the season after as a player / coach. Still pretty good mentally. I mean, for his age of 36, he'd be 37 now. He will play the cup games, which is only really going to be 1 or 2 more games anyway. But he's still got these stats here. It's just his physicals are crash diving, as you can see. And I was umming and ahhing because he is the captain, has been for years. And I've decided, you know what, we'll just leave him as a captain. He may not play every game. He probably won't play many, but he's got the presence there. So, yep, definitely decided to keep him there. But this will probably be his last season. Stephen Taylor, of course, if you know, former Newcastle United player. And, yep, did well. Really good stats there, especially in the tackling and the heading. Really high. Very slow, though. Pace has gone down significantly, down to 4. Still, though, with some of his mentors, they're able to do enough. And he is contracted. This is his last year of the contract. I will offer a renewal. We go for Dylan Fox now, a youngster here, defensive centre, who is the backup, really, to Taylor and Durante. And you can expect to see him play a fairly regular role, I think, going forward. I want to get him and remind myself to push him forward as much as I can with more game time. We then have Thomas Dang. Brought him in. He's came in for free for us, really, through the reserves. We picked him up in trial. And yeah, he's a pretty good rated one. I'm not too happy. I don't have an issue with him. He will be again another one. We are scouting for a replacement for Durante to see who's out there, but I'm pretty happy overall. He's got some good physicals there, and his technicals aren't too bad for the role. Positioning helps him out too, and composure. And he's only 22, so I think we can safely see some improvement on Deng, and he's comfortable and quite nicely can cover on the right if we need to. We then have Declan Wayne. Came in last season. He's a wing back, no nonsense. He can cover the left. He can push up a little bit more, but he can cover both flanks quite well and is comfy as a wing back. Good pace at 12. I mean, there's not lightning, but most of his physicals are pretty good. They are showing a decline, though. I think that's because we're coming in from the off season, but we'll have to see. Yep, and good tackling, good marking. And mentals aren't really much to talk about, but he's one of those players that seems to do better than you would expect for someone with the stats that they have. Certainly last season he did play well for us, all things considered. 23 appearances for 6.81, pretty good. I mean, he came in late in the season, so yeah, that's Declan for you. Rosser Griffin, we've already covered and shown him in the transfers in. Ruben Way is a youngster. Been us for a while. He's adapted all on the flanks, but primarily plays in a role here on the left. Usually the understudy to, actually usually the first choice, but has picked up some injuries and stuff last season, which kind of didn't help him. But he is a very capable winger, and as you can see, fairly good stats. Pace is lowing though and dropping down, so you'll probably see that slowly and slowly here. We may look at retraining him down here more because he is actually potentially can do that. Then we're going to have a look at, we've looked at Negro. We now look at Tom Doyle. So the club here is pretty much the second choice defender left wing back. Now still does the job. Pace is average now though, but some good mentals there. And tackling of 13, hitting of 11, and marking of 9. His marking is a bit low. We do need to work on that. But he's a no-nonsense fullback and does a decent job for us. We then have a look at Liberato Cascais. This guy pretty much takes the first starting role in the left wing. Oh, sorry, fullback, attacking wing back. Good, really fast, pretty good acceleration, fairly good, positioning and teamwork, work rate and vision help him out. As tackling is 12 as well, marking's 10. We can work on that, but still does a good job and has picked up a few player of the match awards last season for us. Louis Fenton, we've just had Durant. I had a chat with him. He's a bit concerned about lack of playing time, and to be honest, he has dropped down the pecking order on the right now of defence. Really, I mean, see, it compares him overall, but doesn't compare him to the actual positions. Which is actually, can I change that? No. So yeah, but he is definitely dropping down. He is definitely behind Wayne and also Nigro, who can play there as well. Nathan, we've already covered. Guthrie, we've covered on the transfers. Mitch Nicholas, really well done. Real good player here as a shadow striker. And he can drop back and play as that advanced playmaker or boxer fairly well too, and gets up and above. Really good pace about him, good stamina, good acceleration, really good mentals. Like to take care of, play a bit more of him really off the ball. Fantastic, good root weight, teamwork, positioning. So you can't ask for too much more. He is really good in that shadow striker role, but we don't really employ that role too much. So he does play here. And we have actually been playing him more of the advanced playmaker, but he's been doing the job. Alex Rufer, 23-year-old Kiwi, plays as an advanced playmaker really well, and now and again he has played up front as a shadow striker. A young kid, decent potential, I think. He's underrated. There's a, in real life as well. He's only a kid, so we've got plenty of time. Good pace about him, fairly good physicals. Good first touch, decent technique as well, good vision, and fairly composed. But he does play fairly well and can be a bit of a danger. Elliot here, young kid, 20-year-old Kiwi. He plays on the winger block, but has actually played sometimes in preseason a lot in the middle, and fairly adaptable. Does the job. I'm pretty happy with how he's going, and not the most pace, but he can dribble. He's got good acceleration. Again, a youngster, and you can see some of these arrows are on the up, which is good. We now then will cover Nathan Burns, player who is been playing. We've been trialing him out this off season as the striker because he plays. He's natural as a winger, But I just would like to take care of his, he's got some really good finishing and pace. But we do also employ him generally, and we probably will now with Robbie Keane, is employ him back on the wing as an inside forward. And he's not the best inside forward according to the colour, but he does the job. So he is dangerous, one of our top players, as you can see the rating. Sarpreet Singh coming back from a long-term injury, 20 years old, still a kid. Really good stats for him though. His pace is underrated. I have put a thing through to on the forums. A lot of his stats seem to be a bit lower than they should be. He's definitely a faster than a 9 pace. If not, I think it should be at least a 12. Because he does move the ball well, and he is looking pretty good in some of those mentals as well. And again, he's just coming off a big injury, really. He's only just got clearance to play at least half a game. Mac Burgess, 24-year-old Australian, can play in the central as attacking midfield, but we do employ him primarily as a winger. Again, a pretty good player who's sometimes stats you wouldn't think really, the performances you get out of them aren't indicated clearly by the stats. Sometimes one of those players, but does a good job and can cause a bit of a hassle. And Roy Krishna, 32-year-old now. We have been playing him on the wing, but definitely primarily still forward. Still got the pace about him, and still good, finishing and first touch as well there, and some good, mentals, especially with his determination, which I think does help him get along as well. And of course, we have covered him, but there is Robbie Keane. It is the Robbie Keane, Alex, via Tottenham. What a career that is! But we've managed to secure him for a season. First choice, I don't know. We'll have to dictate that. Anyway, guys, so we are going to go into the match preview now for the first game of the season, which is Perth Glory. However, that match will be on the next video. So I am Parkera. I hope you've enjoyed Monday's edition of the Wellington Phoenix Better Save. Little touch on the squad and the transfers, which we didn't do last season. All right, folks, I'm Parkera. I'm out of here. Kia kaha.